Yes, you did read correctly. We are selling Esper, and no, it is not clickbait. If you don't believe me, have a look in the description for details of Esper's sale via our broker. But we wanted to put this video out, first of all, to inform you of this, but most importantly, to reassure you that Follow the Boat is going to continue.
Yes, the thumbnail, the title, it's all true. It is not clickbait. We are selling Esper.
We will continue to live a life on the water, and we will continue to document it and publish our escapades and our adventures for your visual and audio entertainment.
Our beautiful, beautiful Esper is going to be up for sale. Well, say going to be, she is right now, today, the day that this is released, which is Sunday 29th of September, is the day that she is going online for sale.
So, Follow the Boat episodes and podcasts will continue as normal. But what does this all mean? Why are we selling Esper? And what is happening next? From me, back home in the UK, actually sitting in my old bedroom I grew up in, believe it or not, and Liz back in hot and sweaty Malaysia. We're going to talk about this in a little bit more detail.
Just want to say that I love this boat. I absolutely love this boat. And I'm sitting here right now in my boffice. My office, colloquially known as the boffice, because it's where I sit and boss Jamie around. If you haven't heard that before, it's true. I sit here and I boss Jamie around, and the next person who comes on board and owns this boat can also sit here and boss Jamie around as far as I'm concerned. We've been on her for 19 years and we've owned her for 20. We love her. We've done a lot in her, and if you watched our videos, you'll know certainly over the last 10 years what we've done, but there was 10 years before that as well.
If you are interested in Esper and don't know her, we have over 700 videos on YouTube now. As you know, if you've been watching our channel, you know that we did a refit 10 years ago, and that was pretty extensive.
We took the teak deck off, which sounds mad to some people, but it immediately reduced the temperature by 5 degrees below and reduced the weight of the boat. And it's just a joy to walk on in these very hot temperatures here in the middle of the world. You do get very hot if you've got a wooden deck, so it's very nice not to have that anymore. And we completely we redid her really from top to toe.
We do have a playlist. So on YouTube, if you go to our playlist section, you'll see all the videos on the refit and you'll see exactly what we did. We were in the boatyard for 13 months, so you can imagine we covered off a lot of stuff and we basically completely modernised her. Esper was built back in the day when they built boats well. Up until the sort of late 80s, fiberglass boats tended to be built with much thicker construction. After that, the prices of materials went up and they started cutting corners, unfortunately. Pretty much all boat manufacturers started cutting corners in the 90s. So Esper sort of predates that period. She is a very solid boat, but we added so much more during that refit to make her even more solid. Go and check out the playlist because you'll see everything, every single piece of work that we did on the boat.
For those of you who are watching this video because you're thinking of buying a boat, good idea. I think buy it. Buy a boat. When we started to look for boats, we knew we wanted a boat that was well proven, that was well found, that would take us to the most difficult places and through the most difficult situations. So we knew we needed a solid, strong, well-built blue water cruiser, and that is exactly what Esper is.
Absolutely solid, an Oyster 435, the second most popular model that Oyster ever built. And as you know, we did a refit 10 years ago, so we completely updated her. She has quite a new engine, new sails and so on. So I think what is obvious though from our videos is how well she's looked after us. When all around us is going to shit and everything is falling apart, including Liz and myself, the one thing that holds her own is Esper herself. She really has seen us through some tough times. Of course, she has seen us through some beautiful locations around Southeast Asia as well. She's just a great performer. She's really looked after us. And as you've seen, only recently, we've just sailed 1,300 miles, nautical miles, it's over 2,000 kilometres, back up the Java Sea. And she just was a dream, an absolute dream.
She had two things that we weren't expecting. She was a ketch and has in-mast furling. Jamie was always worried about that in-mast furling, thinking, he'd heard so many different stories about how bad it is. But in 20 years, it's never failed. Touch wood. And it's as solid as a rock, and it's really, really useful and easy to handle. So we are big fans now of in-mast furling. And the second thing was he didn't want to ketch because he imagined that it would be more difficult with all those extra sails. But in fact, he's discovered, because he's got a lot more experience than I have, that it's actually easier to control a ketch when he's single-handed than it is a sloop with a great big sail. So you've got 4 regular sails that you use on the ketch, because ours is cutter rigged as well, so we have 2 foresails. You've got the 2 at the front, you've got the one in the middle, the main, you've got the mizzen at the back. All of them are relatively small, easy to get out, easy to put away, so they're very, very manageable.
She'd be a great boat for a cruising couple, she'd be a great boat for a young family, and even a solo sailor. I spent quite a bit of time sailing the boat on my own. When Liz had to return to the UK, I sailed around the Dodecanese Islands in Greece on my own. I sailed up and down the Phuket coastline for a couple of months on my own. She's a centre cockpit, and all the sails are quite short, so they're very easy to handle. And don't forget, she has 4 sails currently on the boat, and all the extra light wind sails as well. So lots of options. Very easy to manage because she's centre cockpit. All the lines run back to the cockpit. So as a solo sailor, easy to sail. A couple, well, I think we've just proved over the last 20 years what a great boat she is for a cruising couple.
But it's also, I reckon, a pretty good family boat. And a lot of people, when the 435 came out early on, did bring their families on board, because you've got lots of cabins.
Esper is sold as an 8-berth boat.
So plenty of room to put 2 smaller people up the front.
We have the 2 single bunks opposite Liz's office.
While Mum and Dad have the cabin.
And of course we have the 2 bunks in the saloon as well.
Now, if you're interested in buying her, let me say right from the outset, don't contact us. You can write comments and ask questions, that's absolutely fine. But if you're interested in buying the boat and you want to see her and you want to know more about her, then you need to get in touch with our broker. All the sales inquiries will be held through him. He is Paul Jackson of Yacht Broker Charters. Anyone who's in this area in Malaysia will know him well. He's based out of Langkawi. He's been in the business a long time. We've known him for nearly 10 years, and he's going to be a great person to represent us because he really knows us and he really knows the boat. So if you want to know more about the boat, get in touch with Paul. We'll put the email address on the screen right now, and all his information will be in the description of this video. I'm going to do a blog post as well, so if you want to read more, have a look on followtheboat.com, where there'll be a blog post about the sale with all the contact details there. So for specs and all the all the real nitty gritty, it's that listing you need to look at, and it's Paul you need to speak to.
Why are we selling Esper? Good question.
I can't speak for Jamie, but I can tell you exactly why I want to do this. I'm ready for a change. I really am. I'm ready for a change. As much as I love Esper and I love the way we live now, we've been doing it for 20 years. That's quite a long time for me. I'm not really very good at sticking in one place or doing anything in particular for a great length of time. Just ask my... No, I can't say that. I was going to say just ask my ex-husbands, but I won't say that. 20 years in one place with the same person doing the same thing is a huge record for me, and as much as most of those things I don't want to change, there's no way I want to change Jamie. I'm sure you'll be glad to know. I am ready to change the circumstances in which we're doing these things.
There are actually a number of reasons for this. Some of them are personal, which I don't particularly want to go into. I did promise our supporters over on Patreon and FTB Mates that perhaps we will discuss this in more detail, but that is one of many reasons. I think what's happened is a whole load of situations have sort of come together all at the same time. And so we decided that now is the time to make the change that I think that was going to be inevitable at some point.
Throughout my life, I've made changes. I've changed career midstream. I've changed my ideas about life and where I live and how I live. And obviously the biggest change for me was giving it all up to go and live on a boat. Well, that was 20 years ago. So I reckon I am up for a new change and a new challenge and a new adventure. So this for me, although it's a bit of a dark abyss, I'm not quite sure where we're going to end up, is a brilliant, brilliant, exciting change.
We still have quite a bit of footage to show you of our sail up the Java Sea and to Malaysia. So we've still got sailing vlogs to come out. We're going to continue to do the podcast as well. I think what's going to be interesting is that we will document the whole selling process. And I think one of the reasons why we're being a bit vague about what we're doing next is that, honestly, we can't really make a full decision until we have sold Esper. I think only when we've sold Esper can we take stock of where we are, how much we have, and to think a bit more about what we're going to do next. So we're trying to be as completely honest with you. We're not hiding anything, but we are always looking for your comments and suggestions as well. So do let us know in the comments.
Inevitably, you're going to be wondering what we're going to do next.
If we're going to continue living on the water, what does this mean exactly? Are we going to buy a catamaran?
I wonder how many of you think we're going to buy a catamaran. Because there are so many YouTube channels buying catamarans.
Or are we going to buy a trawler or a speedboat or a barge?
It might seem a bit odd that we're selling the boat without a plan, but I think that selling the boat and having sold the boat, we will have to make a decision. We will have to make a plan. So this is our first step towards our next adventure. Sell the boat, and then we have to decide what to do. We've got lots of different ideas, but I think as we get closer to the time of selling, we'll have honed those down. Oh, I am excited about this. I can't wait to see where we're going to end up and on which piece of water we're going to be. Whatever happens, Follow the Boat will continue, and Follow the Boat will always be on water. So firstly, whatever happens, let me reassure you, Follow the Boat will continue. And not only that, it will continue on the water, because there is no way on this earth that Jamie and I could live anywhere than on the water. The question is, how do we live? How do we live on the water? And what do we live on the water? And which piece of water? All of these are things that we are thinking quite hard about right now and trying to decide what to do.
So that's basically us saying we're going to continue to live on the water. That much we know. The rest is an uncertainty.
If you ask us questions and you want to know more and you want to see the boat and you're asking them directly to us in the comments here or anywhere else, we will refer you to Paul. And I tell you that right now, everything is going to be done through Paul Jackson, and any inquiries that we receive, we will just redirect directly to Paul. So please be assured, we trust him, he's a good man, and he speaks for us.
Despite everything we've said in this video, once again, just to reassure you, Follow the Boat will continue.
You will never find in this world a Jamie and a Liz settling anywhere. We will always move on as long as we are able. We will keep moving, and we will make that movement on water as Follow the Boat. So I do hope that you'll keep watching to see what we end up doing, and maybe get involved in a discussion about what you would do if you were us. What do you think we should do?
So watch this space and make sure you're subscribed and get our weekly updates so that you can see what's going to happen next.
Thanks very much for watching. Peace and fair winds.